It's like looking in a mirror, only not. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
Fuck out of here.
That is one of the taglines. Welcome to episode, I think, 58 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
I'm Kit.
I'm Katie.
And we are recording this extremely non-spooky Halloween crossover with our podcast BFFs, Kasey and Yaz from the Worst Horror Podcast.
What's up,
Hello.
guys? Although you're wrong, this is an extremely spooky movie. It is very spooky.
I mean, only Nic Cage's weird grabbing a lady's butt face at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, that is... No, I was kind of into it.
I was way into it. I was into the dance, the whole... I'm doing it over here.
No one could see you.
I'm doing it over here. I'm doing the head
In case
swing and everything.
that did not give it away, we are talking about 1997's Face Off.
Face Off. I'm so
The
excited.
Most
I'm excited.
perfect action movie of all time.
I don't think saying Nic Cage was doing something weird gives away any movie, because it's like literally
Right.
any movie he's in.
Yeah, exactly.
Nic Cage is a perfect actor. How dare you? So I guess real quick, just to get all of the nonsense out of the way, this is a movie directed by John Woo, who also directed Broken Arrow with John Travolta for some reason. Decided he needed to
Amazing.
work with him again. Starring John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, Gina Gershon as somebody in love with her brother.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was confusing to me.
Margaret Cho is also in this movie for some inexplicable reason. Yeah, this is... okay, so I know specifically this was the first time Kit watched it. Was this the first time anyone else watched this movie?
Me.
Nope.
No.
Okay, so Kit and Katie, first impressions.
Delightful.
I didn't like it.
Oh,
you
you're
guys.
fired.
What?
Katie, how dare you?
Okay, well, I liked the concept of it. I thought there was like some cool things in it, but I don't really like action movies, and this is like a super action movie. So, and I thought it was too long.
Okay, honestly, that's kind of fair. If you're not an action person, it starts off with action, so you're out of luck.
I don't usually like action movies either, but I think it's Nic Cage, so I was
Yeah,
captivated
that's
the
where
entire
I'm at.
time.
Like minus like the Marvel movies, I'm not really big kind of action movie person, but like Kit and I were texting at like, wow, because we ended up not knowing it, but we were watching the movie basically at the exact same time. So like he texted me and he was like, Joe Bob Briggs is in this movie, and I was like, oh shit, you're at like the exact same spot I'm at. And we were talking about how basically...
Wait, what?
Yeah, Joe Bob Briggs is like the guy in the scene where they're
like strapping Nic Cage
Castor Troy is
in.
like trying to get like electrocuted and like breaks out. It's Joe Bob Briggs running that machine.
What? Mind blown.
But
Okay, there were a lot of people, like little Easter eggs, and we'll get into it, I guess, later, that I was like, whoa, he's in that movie, because it's been a while since I've watched it, and I was like, no way, like, John Carroll Lynch was in it, like, that, I was like, what? I don't remember him being in that. And what's his face? Tommy Flanagan?
yeah, there's like a lot. Like this was a big deal movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I watched it, so...
Like the thing Kit and I were kind of talking about was how this movie, Con Air, and The Rock were all like essentially all perfect, all made basically like back to back. Like
Yeah, didn't Nic Cage do Con Air like at the same time, or was it like
they
Con Air and then
it
Face
was
Off?
basically like right in a row to the point where I think like the last little bit of Con Air was getting filmed as Face Off was starting. Because it was literally, he did Leaving Las Vegas, then The Rock, then Con Air, then Face Off. Leaving Las Vegas, also the most depressing movie I have ever watched.
I've never watched that.
It is. I had never seen it before, and I just watched it like on a whim, and it's about a dude who goes to Las Vegas just to drink himself to death. It's fucked up.
Rad.
He has Leaving Las Vegas, The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, City of Angels, Snake Eyes, 8mm, Bringing Out the Dead, Gone in 60 Seconds, all in a row. Which is like
They all have like
hell
the
of a run.
same covers too.
they are all perfect.
Especially Con Air.
Con Air
Con Air's the
rules
most
so
perfect.
much. There's an episode of How Did This Get Made where they talk to oh fuck, his name just left my brain. Danny Trejo. And they're like in the cast of Con Air, who is like the one person you think would be the most terrifying to fight, and he said John Cusack, because he's got like, he was like, you look in that dude's eyes and there's just something there that you know he'll like fuck you up.
I
What?
agree.
Really? He looks like a teddy bear to me. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't get that vibe, but
If you're saying John Cusack's got crazier eyes than Steve Buscemi, like,
That's wild.
I believe you. That's real shit.
So I did not take notes. I figure we could just kind of just discuss.
We're gonna talk about peaches.
Yeah.
All day.
We're going to do about an hour and 20 minutes on Nic Cage talking about asking a woman if she could suck his tongue. Just my new go-to pickup line.
Please don't say that to anyone ever.
Like, I
We're
could
gonna talk about
literally...
Nick Cage's bad haircut.
I could spend an hour going just over the trivia in fucking IMDb. There's some wild shit. Like, one of them is about how the boots when he's in jail, the magnetic boots, are the same boots used in Super Mario Brothers movie that the Goombas wear,
oh shit.
So
which is fucking amazing. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone were originally the
Oh
idea
yeah,
for
I heard
leads.
that.
John Woo shot that down immediately.
Why? Are you fucking kidding me? That would have been so amazing.
Don't they have like a gnarly size difference though? Like
I mean,
I don't
John
know.
Travolta and Nicolas Cage have like wildly different body types.
yeah.
And
They
like
do.
they're like John Travolta's head is a fucking rectangle. I want Arnold Schwarzenegger and Nic Cage as this duo.
I would have liked them as like brothers. That would have been fucking sick.
There's like so much shit, like a lot of the trivia on here is just like shit about Nic Cage's like acting process, where he didn't want to see any of the like face makeup used, so they had to like get rid of any reflective surfaces in that like surgery room scene, so he couldn't see himself.
What the
that must have made the mirror scene very difficult.
Well, no, it was when he had the like the fucking, you know, with his face off.
Oh,
That was like that whole I don't know, there's a lot of things in this movie that I didn't care for, I guess. But the whole part where they were doing the actual face off, I thought was pretty cool. And that was like one of the scenes, you know, when they like bring the doctor in and he's just does not have a face, but he's like smoking a cigarette, I thought was really great.
Yeah, like how is he holding that? Like just I didn't understand that.
I don't know how you don't wake up and it's just not an immediate agonizing pain.
Well, he
No,
took like, medicine, or what was it, like medication, like to
Yeah.
get rid of the pain or something.
Yeah, after like, but I mean, like he gets up and he's just like touches his face
Oh,
and
that was
like,
gross.
yeah.
You can hear it too.
oh.
Oh,
I
so
thought
good.
those effects were so cool, though. I was definitely for that. I thought they did a great job.
My only issue with the whole operation though is like it took like 10 minutes. Like,
Well, they can't have you sitting through the whole fucking operation.
well, I'm just saying is like you would take into consideration like the connective tissue and like all like they just like cut it right off. Like it was no big deal.
I would not been. I could not hang if they were like, let's show you the goriest parts of this. I'm glad they.
Well,
kept
Were
it.
you able to watch it? Because Kasey has a thing about like getting skinned
Oh,
and
I
like
do. It's one of my top. I would say, skinning and scalping are like my top. What 5
Your
fears?
bugaboos?
Yep, hate it.
I can't say that it's I don't have a thing about it. So like I thought it was fine. The thing that I thought was weird is like Did they say when he talked to his wife, did they say that he was only gone for like a week or something? And I was like, man, that is like some pretty serious surgery, and his recovery time was like a day for him to just like be in prison already, and then he was getting like punched and stuff. I was like, dang.
My favorite thing about the entire movie that like makes zero sense is the microchip they put in his throat. That he tells him will get knocked loose with a violent sneeze, but then the entire movie he's just like doing
Getting the
action
shit beat out of him. Yeah.
That dude gets like fucking rocked like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, so good though.
It should be noted that Gina Gershon and Nick Cassavetes, who play like the brother and sister, just decided on their own that they should be in love with each other.
That's
Okay.
fucking weird.
It's so weird.
I didn't realize that they were like siblings, and then until like they were parting ways or whatever, and they like mouth kissed, and I was like, wait, because then later she was like, you killed my brother, and I was like, ew, gross, that was her brother.
Okay, I was so confused by that.
Yeah,
okay.
I
I didn't
lost.
catch on to the fact that they were brother and sister because I was like, who killed her brother? I was like, I must have missed her brother because any logical person isn't kissing their fucking brother on the mouth.
Right.
So I was like, okay, so I must have just skipped over a huge chunk of this movie.
The most infuriating thing I discovered when I was like looking at IMDb is that Joel Schumacher visited the set and offered Nic Cage the role of Jonathan Crane in a Batman and Robin sequel that never happened, which would have been fucking amazing. Don't even say it. That would be perfect. George Clooney against Nic Cage in a Batman movie.
Yes.
Oh my
done.
God.
Sold.
I feel like Nick Cage
Jeez.
is such like a scene stealer though. You couldn't have him against,
Could you just
what people consider as like America's like, silver fox basically. You have to have
picture how over the top those two Joel Schumacher Batman movies are, and then throw Nic Cage in there.
Oh, he would fit in perfectly. Absolutely.
Him and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, just like
Saying one-liners at each other.
oh, he's so good.
Nick Cage should be Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Hard agree. Nick Cage just plays every single role in it.
Okay, I would be for that. Like if he did like a Medea situation.
They should have cast him as Catwoman instead of Zoe Kravitz in the new Batman movie.
Agreed.
I'm just thinking of like Nick Cage doing like Eddie Murphy in the Crumps now.
I'm here for it.
Alright, so I don't think we necessarily, because for the most part this movie is just Nick Cage and John Travolta fighting each other as each other for like the whole movie, and confusing, I figured to talk about. So like, I don't know what I think like my first thing is the entire first scene of Nick Cage dressed up in like the priest
best outfit.
monk outfit.
And he's like twerking as the choir singing Hallelujah.
Oh my god, it's so good. There's so many fucking perfect gifts that came out of this movie.
Oh my gosh, seriously. Just in that one scene alone.
Seriously, it was perfect.
Yeah, so like Nick Cage plays Castor Troy, who is essentially the villain. He originally didn't want to make the movie because he was playing the villain, and then John Woo had to be like, well, technically for most of the movie you're playing the other guy, so you're kind of the good guy.
But he's playing a good guy who's trying to be a villain, so like
Yeah, it's very I'm not going to pretend I understand Nick Cage's reasons for doing anything.
fair.
Otherwise, decision.
Just appreciate all of them.
Doesn't he just take every role because he's like bankrupt?
I think he does now. At this point, he was probably fucking mega rich going, because this was
a
like
little more obvious
this
now.
was the third following like Con Air and The Rock. So like between these three movies, he was probably making a shit ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
Then he bought whatever the fucking Superman #1 and shit, and a bunch of Elvis shit, and then went bankrupt.
Honestly, I probably would have done the same.
But he's also making very good movies now, so
Yeah, everyone has a a struggle time.
I don't know what you're talking about because all of Nick Cage's movies are good. I've been watching a different one every day this month, and the one thing I can confirm is that a lot of his movies would be extremely unwatchable if he was not in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Frozen Ground.
Oh, I haven't watched
watched
it yet.
that.
Don't say anything about it.
I'm not going to, except that he's the only good part of it.
I mean, isn't John Cusack in that also?
Yeah, John Cusack is terrible, though.
Don't say that. He's gonna fight you.
Ah, fuck. He does know some
Just
form of
signed your death
karate,
warrant.
so... yeah, so Castor Troy is, like, setting a bomb at the beginning of the movie that is going to fucking create some biblical plague in fucking Los Angeles. And you have John Travolta playing Sean Archer as the plot, or the bio in IMDb refers to him as a very tough, rugged FBI agent, which I feel like
Okay,
John
no,
Travolta
first-
demanded.
Don't get that vibe.
No.
This is like entire beginning rules this whole like action piece at the like with the airplane and the helicopter.
Oh, that airplane scene? Okay, I thought the like opening of him as like a priest did it for me. That super weird face he does and like the gross things he says to her, I'm like, this shouldn't be as hot to me as it is.
I mean, you're not alone. I'm into it.
I can eat a peach for hours.
Oh, it's so good. I feel like he probably just like ad-libbed that line and then they just added it to the movie.
I hope so, and I hope he can follow through. I would love a YouTube video of Nick Cage just eating a peach for like 8 hours straight. They just keep giving him a brand
Prove
new
it.
peach.
Oh man,
Pixar did happen.
ASMR.
I am going to start a Kickstarter to just get that. But like, I know you probably need money right now. All you gotta do is eat like 20 peaches.
True, and slowly.
Yeah.
And then he has to make his weird like Nick Cage like grunts. It would work. I would chip in like $50 for that. I'm down.
I would replace that with like the Gulag on Shudder.
Which is funny because we're actually have it on in the background, and I'm like, that would be so distracting. Be like, oh, how do you just like get into like, you know, the Halloween mood? And I'm like, I just watched Nick Cage eat peaches one after another for 8 hours straight.
He like has to just like make eye contact, so he just had to stare at the camera the whole time too.
But he has to do his like super crazy like wide eyes.
Yes, I'm into it.
Oh my god.
Katie,
He
I
sticks
think
his
Katie
tongue
probably
out.
just left.
Yeah. Peace out, guys.
I don't know.
What does he say when he sticks his tongue out?
He says it's something like, "If I was to ask you to suck my tongue, would you?" or something.
Or like, he says something like to the effect of like, would you be like flattered, or he doesn't say flattered,
yeah.
but it's something like that. Would you be? I can't remember.
Just like, would
It was
you be
really
into
gross
it,
though.
essentially?
Like if I gave you the privilege to suck my tongue or something like that. Like,
He's-
whoa.
He's got a pretty
aggressive.
long
Would you
tongue.
appreciate it or something?
That scene reminds me of on Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore. When Shooter McGavin like goes to make out with the grandma and it's her with like the Gene Simmons mask on and the tongue sticking out. It was so gross. That was too much Nick Cage tongue for me.
Not for me.
He stuck it all the way out.
It's pretty good.
Do you want him to stick it all the way in instead?
I will suck his tongue right now.
Oh.
I can already hear Caitlin in like 2 weeks breaking up with me over text.
Like
Right.
new Kickstarter.
You're like, why? What's wrong? And she just like forwards you the episode.
She's aware. She knows my love of Nick Cage, so. Yeah, so this entire like beginning is just kind of like a typical like action chase scene, except in a helicopter and airplane. And Nick Cage's brother, who was originally supposed to be Mark Wahlberg.
No,
Hard
it doesn't
agree.
work.
I think
Hard
this guy's
pass.
much better.
I agree.
But yeah, like, so they're like, Nick Cage is just trying to fly this airplane that John Travolta has just broken the wing off of. They end up crashing into like the airplane hangar, and there's just like a bunch of fucking gunfire. Nic Cage eventually gets arrested after being shot, like pushed into like a jet engine that's like firing and blows him like 100 feet back.
Yeah, how is he not like burnt and stuff?
There are numerous times in this movie that he has almost lit on fire that I don't understand. Like all of the action stuff in this movie was made pretty much without digital effects. And so there's like a point where he's like running up the stairs and the fire is like basically engulfing him. What were you gonna say, Katie?
Well, I was gonna say it's like pretty obvious because like skipping ahead to the end, that whole like boat scene, there's like multiple times when you can tell that there's stunt doubles, and I'm like, oh, yeah. That is not either of them.
Can we talk
they did
about
not even try.
The dummies made of them that are in the surgery scene? They look like nothing like either of them. I gotta look up who did the special effects, because the Nic Cage one specifically just looks ridiculous.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I mean, basically, Nic Cage gets arrested, and they find out that this bomb has been set, and so obviously the first thing anybody in the FBI thinks of to get this information where the bomb is at is to make an FBI agent switch faces with this criminal. I'm pretty sure this happens almost daily at the FBI.
Yeah, duh. The most logical explanation is a face-off.
That's just what they call it now.
Literally wrote face-off so many times in my notes.
One,
because they say it like 3 times in one scene.
They do say it. That was my favorite part of the movie. I was like, they said it.
One of the notes on like IMDb was how about like there was never an actual face transplant. Like the first one ever done was in 2012, and this movie was in 1997.
They were also like, after that scene with the hanger, they were like 3D printing somebody's ear, which like we have 3D printing now, but I'm pretty sure they can't do that with a real ear.
Yeah,
we're just growing them on rats.
Yeah, don't they just grow them on rats now?
Do they?
Yeah, they've done that.
Yeah,
it is real fucking weird
looking. Google ear rat.
I will type in ear rat.
This is not Riff Raff Kit. Calm down.
I will not.
Oh my gosh, you guys. There are real ears on hairless rats.
It's fucking weird, isn't it?
Ew, that's
Why would
gross.
I ever lie about ear rat?
I don't know.
If there is a weird fucking thing about animal, Kit is on top of it.
Okay, well, Kit wasn't sure if you could transplant a whole eyeball, so forgive me if I have to Google it now.
Oh
Just
my
wait,
God,
they're gonna
this
start
is
growing
so
eyeballs on
fucking
rats.
disgusting.
Can I see it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you imagine like just
It's
a
so
fucking
gross.
loose eyeball growing on a rat?
I'm gonna Google that too.
No,
Oh.
don't.
That's not
I
good.
have a new fear. It's ear rat.
It's ear rat. That's so gross. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, so the entire like surgery scene is extremely ridiculous and it makes no sense. Like, I just like that he's like, well, we got this mold of your skull that we'll just put the face on. It'll be fine. And like they basically just like cut around the face and just suck it off with this thing.
Like yeah, it was weird. It's like a suction. Like I don't even know what that was.
I'm pretty
Then
sure
they
that's
just like
how they do it in real
drop
life
it
now.
into a tub of water.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't care for these people's faces at all. They were just like, fuck it. Like, it's all off it now, so it doesn't matter. That's the hard part.
Also,
They like drop it in the toilet.
Like,
Yeah.
they then just bandage up Nic Cage, and like that can't be good for like whatever is going
I know,
on
just
under that.
gauze on like a straight like.
I know, you would think like, okay, we're gonna put like a
Open
thin
wound.
layer of like silicone or, you know, something on his face. You're like, fuck it, it's an open wound. Just wrap it super tight around his face. You're like,
Well,
what
I
the
think-
hell are you thinking?
like he's in a coma, but I think that they were gonna kill him after, right? So maybe they're just like,
Well,
we're not
so, like,
wasting
why
our
not-
science on him.
Why not do it immediately? Like, why keep him alive? You've already got the face. You don't need the rest of him.
Nathan, there would be no face-off without
the face.
I mean, look, I have to point out the perfectly
The only
logical
thing-
things of this perfect movie.
That's right. The only thing that does not make sense in this movie is why they didn't kill Nic Cage. The face-off thing is like totally legit.
I thoroughly enjoy like Nic Cage acting with John Travolta's voice at points in this movie. When like towards
God.
the end fight, when like the quote unquote microchip gets knocked loose, it's so weird.
I didn't even notice that, to be honest with you.
There's like a spot when it's when Jamie at the end, right before she fucking stabs John Travolta in the leg, where like they're like
This movie-
fighting and like, it's just John Travolta's voice coming out of Nic Cage.
It's so fucking. This whole movie is just like, it feels like a fucking fever dream. This movie has
Yeah.
caused my husband and I to go like, okay, if there is a face-off scenario, how would you know it's me?
Yeah, what's the question that you would ask that I would know
Okay.
it was you?
I don't mean to cut anybody off. So it was only from like how far down? They didn't do
They
like
just did
dick
the
replacement,
face.
right?
They should.
Because they were saying that they were gonna like,
That's the
Okay,
sequel,
because-
Dick Off.
okay,
I would bet you money. I will bet you money there is a porn version of Face Off.
There has to be.
Right now. I'm
Okay.
looking it up.
So
so
why?
okay. But when like John Travolta ends up banging his wife, like she didn't notice?
There's so many things that drive me crazy. That's like
I don't mean to jump ahead, but like I was like, wait a minute.
like they have like again they have wildly different head types. Their body types are pretty fucking different. Like their hands both look different. Like there's so many things that I don't understand how you do not realize this is not your husband.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy, but I would have noticed.
I'm not getting anything good for Face Off porn version.
No dick off.
It's upsetting.
Guess you gotta make it.
Goddamn right.
Yeah.
Bet Nic Cage will be in it.
100%. Just he's not even. He's just gonna be sitting in the background eating a peach in one of the scenes.
Oh my god.
His dialogue would work so well for a porno too. That's so disappointing.
I know. Damn.
Let's see what else happens in this fucking crazy movie. Nic Cage or John Travolta as Nic Cage goes to jail in the most insane jail I have ever seen in a movie.
It was bonkers. The second, oh my god, yeah, it was insane.
Like I can't like the fucking name of the prison is just Nowhere with the letters scrambled.
Oh my god.
I can't remember how it's pronounced. I gotta fucking find it again. It's like something weird that when you look at it, it's just the word Nowhere with just all of the letters scrambled. And
I
it's
did not notice
Oh.
that.
Me either.
Erewhon, Erewhon, Erewhon,
Yeah.
something like that. Which is
It was-
essentially
yeah.
just at like a fucking oil refinery or whatever that has magnetic boots to make it so you can't run around, I guess.
But then, like, to be fair, after he like got out of it, it was pretty easy to escape, I thought.
I want a entire movie of him jumping off and landing in the water and then having to swim back to fucking shore.
Yeah, they were just like, he just was like appeared. He was like, ah, that was easy.
That's like my favorite thing about 90s action movies is that they're just like, it was made during a time where they weren't just like, people are gonna just like break this down and critique it a whole lot. Like, just shit just doesn't make sense. They're just like, yeah, fuck it. He just jumped in the water and swam 300
Okay,
miles back to land.
So they predicted being able to, like, you know, add body parts and 3D printing, but they couldn't foresee the future that this movie would be like broken down and reviewed. It's like beyond me that they like Someone wrote this movie and was like, this is a fucking blockbuster and it's gonna hold up no matter what. Those suits are like 1,000 sizes too big for every single person in that.
I know.
Okay, I'm sorry, I know it jumps ahead a little bit. It bugged me so much that they kept making the wife seem like a bitch. And she's like, I just want to spend time with you. And he's like, I have to fucking work. And you're like, holy shit, she just wants to hang.
I never kind of looked at it as like her being the bitch. I always just like, I think they set it up kind of well that like John Travolta's character is just obsessed with Nic Cage's character, so he just spends all of his fucking free time trying to find him, which is just like put a huge like rift in between the two of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the daughter for a second? Because she is the fucking worst. Oh my God.
She's a teenage girl.
Okay, but I'm sorry, your dad's out there putting his life on the fucking line every day, and Dad, you don't understand me. Like,
she is a teenage girl.
Okay, but
she's a teenager. It doesn't even have to be with her being a girl.
But I just couldn't wrap my head around that. I'm like, you fucking asshole.
All she wants is her dad to pay attention to her.
And she draws on those stupid fucking eyelashes on
Oh
her
my
actual
God, her
face.
eye makeup when she's first introduced is
You
the
remember that?
best.
She's edgy. How dare you?
She's edgy.
It just looks like her
can't
eyes
say
are
anything.
a fucking spider.
That's what it looks like.
I wrote that she was a juggalette.
She's like what, like 90s, like CEOs of like movie studios think punk kids looked like.
100%.
Right, because like whenever they have that run-in with the boyfriend that Nic Cage
Oh, fucking Danny
Like,
Masterson get
goes
his ass
crazy.
kicked.
Yeah, and like kicks his windshield in. He says something like, dress up like Halloween and ghouls will try and get in your pants. And she's like, typical dad talk. And I was like, excuse me? I have never heard anyone's dad say something like that.
Oh, that whole scene rules so much.
That guy was Danny Masterson. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him
Didn't
like
catch that.
kicking his leg through the window and not managing to just kick that dude straight in the head. It just makes no sense to me, but I love it.
That scene
Then
was
he's
sick,
like-
though.
And then he's like, here's this knife. And the next time he does it, stab him in the... I'm like, I don't think that guy's going to come around your daughter. You
Yeah,
just
I
like
think you're
kick
good.
his window in.
Real,
got him.
Real quick. So here were the other pairs that were suggested before Nic Cage and John Travolta. I already said Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone.
There were multiple? I thought it
Yes.
was just them.
So Harrison Ford and Michael Douglas, which
Absolutely
Done.
not.
I could. I mean
No.
that makes sense at that time, but also they don't look anything alike really. Like the same kind of issue, like body types. Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin.
Oh, I would have been there for that shit.
No. No.
I just want
Stephen Baldwin.
I just want Bruce
Yeah,
Willis,
yeah, there we go.
Stephen Baldwin, and fucking Pauly Shore.
Oh my God.
Oh.
I
the
like.
Biodome sequel.
I just want.
They stumbled into the face-off facility.
I just want. Holy shit!
I would watch that.
Me too.
I just want Bruce Willis having to do like Alec Baldwin's like low talk. Al Pacino and Robert De Niro because of course.
Ugh.
And then the last one, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and anybody want to take a guess on the second person?
Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
No, hold on. I just hold that thought for a second, Kit.
He's the guy who does. Oh shit, what's his name? Oh my God, he's like a police officer, but he also teaches karate. What is his
You were
name?
correct, Steven Seagal.
Oh, yes, Steven Seagal.
Oh,
I
how
would
did
have
you know
watched
that?
that because I know everything.
So Kit said Eddie Murphy. Originally, it was going to be a white man and a black man. And
God.
John Woo was like, no thanks, that makes zero sense. Also, I don't want to get canceled and like immediately.
Before that, yeah, what? How?
Also, Eddie Murphy and Nic Cage would be perfect for this movie.
Yeah,
Just
I-
Eddie Murphy pretending to be Nic Cage would be unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I just noticed under the plot keywords, one of them is title spoken by character.
Holy shit. So, In early drafts of the script, Archer went to Castro's mother's place to hide out. The writers wanted the mother to be played by Elizabeth Taylor or Jack Nicholson in drag.
Oh,
What?
This movie is so good. Every single aspect about it is amazing.
I would have loved Jack Nicholson in drag. Although this movie is supposed to be serious, and then they're going to go and do something like
Right.
that. Also, Elizabeth Taylor would have been so over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She would be good, though, as Nic Cage's mom.
No, she would.
Yeah.
God damn, every fucking, like, faggot here just makes no sense. That I'm glad John Woo apparently was just like, no, we're not doing any of this.
He's like, this movie is already crazy. You guys need to reel it in a little bit.
Like, Nick Cassavetes apparently just showed up on set one day with his head shaved. It was just like, I don't know, I think my character would do this.
I could not handle actors if I had to. I'd be like, are you... What the fuck?
It sounds
No.
like John Woo handled everything pretty well before they started filming, and then just shit went fucking bonkers after they started filming.
He's like, oh, fuck it. Whatever.
So, the guy that plays the prison guard, that he's like Nic Cage as John Travolta, like whatever, is just like, I'm gonna have you fired one day, or like eventually. Looks like the dude that hosted Guts on Nickelodeon.
Do you have it? I love that show.
And that's like all I could picture is that fucking Mike O'Malley dude. And I know it's not him, but that's all I can think about when I see him.
It kind of does, now that you mention it. I love that show.
So, basically, Nic Cage is in jail. I guess, Castor... No. So, God, this is why this fucking movie, I was like, I'm not taking notes because I'm not going to remember how to talk about any of this. It's going to be really confusing. So, Sean Archer, as Castor, is in jail to find out from Castor's brother where the bomb's at. After he gets the information, he gets brought into like a holding cell, which is where now Castor as Sean Archer comes in and is just John Travolta acting like the coolest guy on earth, but like what a 40-year-old dude thinks is the coolest guy on earth.
It's so bad. It's cringy.
Like, he works in the movie, but it's also like he's the worst.
I think I haven't seen anything. Has he even? I don't know that he's been in anything recently.
Yes, he is. A movie we are going to do that was directed by Fred Durst.
Oh,
What?
The Fanatic.
Wait, what?
So,
Yes. I looked up his picture in there, and he looks insane.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
we are.
But-
So Fred Durst directed a movie about John Travolta being a stalker of like somebody, and it looks like the worst movie on earth.
It does. I thought that I liked John Travolta. I haven't seen a ton of things that he's been in, but after the opening of this movie, I was like, wow, he's really terrible. But he's actually, he's actually like pretty good pretending to be Nic Cage, I think.
I think he plays like what he thinks a suave bad guy is supposed to be like. I don't think he necessarily plays Nic Cage's character well as much as he's just playing kind of like a dick. Like a lot of it, like when like he's extra creepy when he first gets to Castor's house or Sean Archer's house, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's
and he's,
just
like,
hitting
hitting
on his
on the
fucking
girl.
daughter and shit.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my god, that part made me feel so fucking uncomfortable.
It
when
was
she's
gross.
And then the daughter, it leads me to believe her dad is already kind of weird with her, because as a teenager, if anyone, my mom, anybody came into my room and I was in my underwear, I would have like shrink down to like a miniature and been like, "Don't fucking look at me." But she's like, "Yeah, Dad, look
Yeah,
at me
she's
in my
cool with
underwear."
it.
She's
Yeah.
like, the plot thickens.
it's
She
so
like
weird.
when he's like weird to her, and then he like takes a cigarette and he's like, I won't tell if you don't, and she's kind of like, wow, my dad's so cool, and I was like, gross, that would not happen.
No, that made me, yeah, because she does like it was really weird. I was like, it's not believable at all. Like, this guy is supposed to be like her dad, and he's hitting on her the entire time, openly. And you're just like, Ugh. Nope.
I do like later when he kind of somewhat becomes protective, like the shit with like Danny Masterson. Like,
that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh wow,
it's a
where did
weird
that come
turn,
from?
but I kind of like it. Like, I like that whole scene with him just beating the shit out of Danny Masterson rules. But then, like,
Yeah.
when they come back in and he's just like, you know, stab him in the leg and twist it so like the wound doesn't close, and gives her the fucking knife.
Yeah, and she's like, this is normal.
I mean, at the same time, if your dad is like a big dude at like the FBI, I feel like that's probably somewhat normal when you're going to start dating. You already, like, I can see numerous cops being that dude that's just like, here's a fucking weapon. All dudes are gross, which they are, but
I mean, true.
FBI agent or not, though, if my dad just like kicked some kid's door in and like pulled him out and beat the shit out of him, I'd be like, whoa, what the hell, Dad?
what if your dad was John Travolta?
Then that would explain it. I'm just
It would either be that or he just comes out and starts singing Grease Lightning to him.
Okay, I'm so happy you said that because I was so hoping that he would use his really shitty accent and be like, I don't know what his daughter's name is. Like,
It was
Jamie,
Jamie, I think.
Yeah.
I can't even do his accent. It is so fucking good though, and so bad in Grease. Ugh,
So
you should have used it.
when it gets revealed later that like Troy Caster has like a son with Gina Gershon's character, and they put like the headphones on him, that's Olivia Newton-John singing.
That's so good. Oh, I love that. That's so good.
I wrote the song down, and now I don't know where
It's
I put it.
somewhere. No, it's not Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
That was a different slow-mo killing thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Kit. Whoa. So I think we talked about it or joked about it on one of the episodes. There is a remake supposedly in the works.
Yes.
Of this movie?
Yes. I don't know how they're going to do it because a lot of the shit in this movie I don't think you can do now. Like having some dude hitting on your underage daughter in her underwear. Who are you casting in it? Seriously, not fucking Tom Green like we said.
Not Jaws and Jason Voorhees.
Yes. I guess everybody. Who as an actors now, who do you think you could cast in this movie?
Oh, cast now.
I already know one of Katie's. I can almost bet.
What?
Jake
What?
Gyllenhaal.
Oh my god, you don't know me. I don't know who I'd pick opposing him, though.
I think was it you that said there was a rumor of Kate Blanchett and Tilda Swinton, maybe?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm fully on board with that.
that would be dope as hell.
Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes. I ship them.
Me too, but I feel like they'd be like the meanest parents of all time. Like they would never let your like kids come over to your house because they'd be like, they're poor. Like it just would not be good. I also heard that Leonardo DiCaprio is like the biggest asshole in Hollywood, and that kind of bums me out.
I mean,
I feel like
he
Brad Pitt would be really
consistently
cool.
dates women like 30 years younger than him, so
Yeah.
I don't think that's super good.
But Brad Pitt has like 6 kids, no? He's like probably good with kids.
Yeah, but I feel like he only lets his kids hang out with each other.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or like maybe just like whoever they go to school with.
Yeah, something like, oh, you can only hang out with Johnny Depp's daughter or something like that.
At least Leo cares about the polar bears.
This is true. He does.
I'm trying to. So, this is my idea.
Okay.
I got what's his name? Hold on, I gotta look up the names. It's gonna
I
be.
got two that don't look remotely similar.
Well, neither do
but-
mine necessarily, but
I want Keanu Reeves and Walton Goggins.
Dude, why didn't I think of Keanu? Damn, that's a good one.
Keanu and who?
Reeves, Kurt Russell. So, mine, Michael B. Jordan. and Chadwick Boseman.
Done.
Okay.
I think Michael B. Jordan would be fucking great as
The caster character.
Yeah, as like John Travolta playing Nic Cage or whatever. Like, I guess as like the good guy in Nic Cage's, the bad guy's body. I just want Michael B. Jordan in like everything.
I think Keanu would be good because, like, for me, he's really similar to Nic Cage in that, like, in my impression, people used to, like, really shit on Keanu Reeves, and now he's, like, the golden boy or whatever. And I sort of feel like that's true of Nic Cage, too, so...
Yeah, like, Keanu Reeves, I think, unfairly, like, got shit on a lot. Like, he just picked movies that he probably, like, I mean, who's gonna, like, Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula movie is, like, a masterpiece, but he also can't pull off, like, playing somebody in, like, the 1500s. He just, like, his accent of California dude is just too much.
Yeah, agreed.
So, like, I think if he made, like, better kind of decisions, he wouldn't have had that kind of, like, slump going on. Nic Cage, like, just hit the point where he got bankrupt and just picked, like, just whatever movie came along. Now he's just doing, like, rad horror movies, and I hope he just continues it for a while, because I'm real excited about Out of Time and Space, or whatever that fucking movie's called. It's coming out.
Color Out of Space?
Yes, Color Out of Space.
Oh, yeah, that's a Lovecraft story, isn't it?
Fuck Lovecraft, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, here's my face-off. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock.
Yes. I love that idea.
Oh, God. I am on board. That would be fucking amazing. There's no way you could even make that movie now. Like, I feel like in the 90s they were already about to make a movie where, like, a dude just puts on, like, a black guy's face. I can't imagine if they would have tried to do, like, a gender swap one too.
I think they actually did. They did, I think it was in the 80s. It was a white guy who played a black woman, and he played her very, very, like, offensively. I think it was called, like, Shaniqua or something like that.
Oh, the one that, like,
no, that was
yeah, go ahead.
LaQuisha came out last year.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, that came out, like, recently.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What? Last year?
Yeah, this year, I think. Where he plays like he's pretending to be like a black woman on the radio or whatever to get popular.
Huh? What? I thought
There's
this
one
was...
from the 80s where
I know
a
where
guy
you're going.
gets into college by donning blackface and pretends to be a black man.
God, that movie
called
so
Soul
bad.
Man.
How was this allowed?
It was the 80s. The 80s were a fucking nightmare.
But I'm saying LaQuisha. How is that allowed?
I mean,
this was released May 21st of this year.
I don't think it was like... I think it was a relatively, like, non-studio made movie. I think this dude sort of found other means to fund it and made it himself. And, like, as soon as, like, people started getting screeners, they were just like, this movie is a piece of shit.
My morbid curiosity got the best of me, and I watched it.
Did you watch it on Tubi?
It was on Prime, because all horrible things are on Prime.
I mean, all horrible things are on Tubi as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair.
I'm assuming your just review is it's a piece of shit, but...
Oh, it's rough. It's real rough.
From
a lot of
beginning to end, you watched it?
Yep. The whole thing.
I'm committed.
That sounds... I think Erica from Customers Also Watch did, like, a review. She ended up watching it, too, and, like, did a review on Letterboxd along the same lines. I've seen Soul Man. I don't need to see LaQuisha or whatever it was.
Regardless of if you've seen Soul Man, you don't need to see LaQuisha.
That's good to know. I've never seen Soul Man, so I'm glad to know I don't have to see LaQuisha either.
Just watch Mannequin instead. Mannequin is a good 80s movie. It has,
Mannequin.
What's Mannequin again?
it's the one with
The mannequin.
what's her name?
The mannequin.
Samantha from fucking Sex and the City plays a mannequin that like comes to life, and like this dude's in love with her, and he has like a sassy gay African American guy named Hollywood that wears ridiculous amazing 80s glasses throughout the whole movie. That's like his best friend. It's real stupid, but it's awesome.
I would rather check that out. That sounds a lot less offensive.
So this is I Hope You Suffer, where we just talk about offensive movies.
Okay. Dude, you had me. I was like, did we just restart it? Like, have I just lost like almost an hour of my life? What just happened?
So Kit, since this is like your first time watching it, and I guess, or here, let's do this first. Katie, so this was your first time watching it. What were parts that you liked?
The only part I liked was the face-off part. Like
Like
when
the
they
surgery,
did the
or the
When everyone said face off.
yes, when everyone said face-off a bunch, I enjoyed that. Like I said, I liked the part when Nic Cage didn't have a face
he's just,
and
like,
he
smoking.
was like smoking the cigarette or whatever. And
when you say the face-off part, do you mean like the surgery or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you're talking about like later when they're like looking at like the mirrors and facing off with each other before they start shooting.
No, I didn't like. I thought that was stupid.
How dare you?
Deep meaning.
No, yeah, I wrote they face off a lot in this. No, I did really like the whole surgery part, and when he like woke up and he was like freaking out, and literally the subtitle was demonic laughter from Nicolas Cage.
I caught that too.
Some of the parts I thought were like so ridiculous that I thought they were funny. If that make like, I don't know. The whole thing was like.
I mean, it's
sort
a
of weird.
very ridiculous movie. Like,
I liked the end part whenever they were in that church and they were all like facing off with the guns because it reminded me of that scene in The Office when they do the murder and they're all just like pointing guns at each other, and John Travolta as Castor Troy is like, he's Sean Archer and I'm Castor Troy, and then the lady was like, and I'm bored, and I was like, girl, this is serious. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
what about you, Kit? Since I assumed you enjoyed it more than Katie did.
Oh, and then at the
Yeah.
very end when the daughter goes, "Hi Dad, sorry I shot you."
With the most like deadpan delivery.
I do like
Yeah.
how
Sorry, I shot you.
how quickly the daughter and wife are just like, okay, there's this kid living here now. Like,
Yeah, also, what is with the face thing?
I don't
She
know.
immediately like touches his face and he's like, "Hi, I'm Adam." And I was like, "What?"
It's just some fucking weird shit John Travolta, I think, decided to do that they just left in the fucking movie.
I would have quit the fucking movie.
If John Travolta touched your face.
Honestly, pretty much at this point, if anyone fucking touches my face like that, I'm gonna cut you out of my life. You're officially dead to me.
I'd let Nic Cage touch my face like
I
that.
would not. I was like, every time he did it, I was like, stop fucking touching her or whoever. It's so intimate, and it's like weird to run your fingers across your kid's lips. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
so
weird.
there are points where like he does it and it seems fine, but then there's times where he does it where their bottom lip moves, and I'm like, oh no.
I don't know where your dirty ass hands have been. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
You hear that little lip flick?
It's
The
just
last thing I
so
want is John
intimate.
Travolta's
Ugh.
fingers on my lips.
Ugh.
This is worse than the meat frappuccino.
Wait, what?
We recorded an episode before this for to release tomorrow, since I fucking didn't record the episode we did on body bags, and we ended it by talking about, I don't even remember how we started talking about it, but like
Katie called Starbucks Starbies, and I told her I thought it was like a mix of Starbucks and Arby's, where they like blend up a bunch of roast beef, like, and give it to you like a shake.
That just turned into us talking about what like a big beef and cheddar with like pumpkin spice latte blended
I
up
was
with
just
you.
thinking, I was like, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if you didn't add the cheddar to it.
No, the cheddar's like the whipped cream on top.
Like the thickener. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Oh,
Jeez.
so
They're whipped
gross.
We need to make sure we say something about it in the next episode. We like I Hope You Suffer does, so we just have 3 weeks in a row of talking about this gross roast beef milkshake.
And then no one listened to us ever again.
All right, Kit, what were the things that you liked in Face Off?
All of the action kicked ass because it's John Woo. Especially the mirror scene I liked. It was extremely on the nose, but everyone rolling around on the ground and sliding and trying to shoot each other after that.
The amount of
was awesome.
times that John Travolta and Nic Cage don't shoot each other is baffling.
It's so frustrating. I was like, why? You've shot like 5,000 times and you guys haven't hit each other once.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
You guys are good enough to face off, but not good enough to face off.
Yeah, it's like master CIA agent and like world-renowned terrorist, but they can't shoot each other.
Oh my god.
What else, Kit?
The boat sequence at the end, specifically
so good.
when they crash it, and they both just go flying out like 80 feet from the exploded boat.
And have the most like obvious stunt doubles.
Yes.
I love when Nic Cage is like water skiing
That's
though in
what-
that segment.
It's so dumb. I love it so much.
And it was like a pretty long like sequence too. He's just like
Yeah.
holding onto that chain. I'm like, okay, is that possible? Can you do that?
Probably. It would probably hurt, but you could probably do it.
Any movie where the villain's defeated by getting kicked in the dick so he gets harpooned in the stomach, that's a winner.
That was pretty good. I will admit that.
That whole thing apparently was.
They'd say improvised.
Well, no, yeah.
Like Nick Cage brought his own crossbow
Brought his own
to the
spear gun.
Like I've got an idea.
So they used the spear gun because it was supposed to be this weird fucking Jesus analogy that I don't understand because John Travolta's like in that cross position and he gets like shot in the side with a spear.
Oh,
Okay.
I think that was just John
had
Woo
a spear gun that I
trying
didn't
to-
read about.
Yeah, they had spear guns back then.
Okay, I get it, but I don't really think it works.
I mean, yeah, I get what John Woo was going for, but at the same time, yeah, I don't understand why Castor was like the Jesus figure.
I don't know.
All right, what
I
else, Kit?
didn't get that imagery, so I'm kind of lost for that.
Yeah, other than that, I texted you this. I like that John Travolta is like doing a decent job trying to be Nick Cage, but Nick Cage is just
Being Nic
being
Cage.
slightly reserved Nick Cage. Than
Yeah.
trying to be John Travolta.
I love when John Travolta as like Castor goes to disarm the bomb and he does that weird thing with his suit jacket when he takes it off where he's like dancing. It's so dumb, but I don't know. Like it's like the only time John Travolta I'm like, you're kind of cool in this.
I think maybe my issue with John Travolta at this point, have you guys seen that meme of him at like some award show when he's like looking at Benedict Cumberbatch and it's like, I hate you, Bendrick Crumbersnatch or something. And I can't like get that image of him out of my head.
I have
Never
seen
seen that.
Battlefield Earth, so I hate John Travolta forever.
I forgot that movie existed.
Yeah, it should be. So, Kasey and Yaz, what are some of the stuff you liked in this movie?
I like the plane part.
I was gonna say that too. That's our favorite part.
I mean, it's a pretty good like opening.
The boat scene was cool because it was just way too long and it was fucking pointless.
Oh my God,
why not have a fucking boat scene where they're fighting and was it John Travolta that was trying to like stab him with the anchor?
Like, that anchor has to weigh so much that he's just swinging it around like it's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, this movie kind of just like melds together for me. It just feels like just one very long scene, which I guess is like what a movie is, but still, it just everything is just feels like it's insane from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact, and I'm pretty sure Katie brought this up, that yeah, they shoot at each other so many times and they never hit each other. I think that's my favorite because it's very conflicting with, yeah, you have this like, you know, infamous terrorist, and then this, was it CIA or FBI?
FBI.
This FBI guy that is like he's so good at his job that they can, you know, have him risk his entire life to do Face Off. And yet, yeah, not even, it's, I don't know.
I like the idea of Face Off as just a thing. Like,
Well,
nope,
the thing
I'm gonna
to
go
me
do Face
too,
Off today.
right? The thing that was like weird to me too is that like, Castor like kills everyone, right, who knew about the Face Off and the doctor, but then at the end there's just like another doctor that can do Face Off.
Yeah, he's like,
that's
oh,
what
I got
I
it covered. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I feel
Well,
like
what I think is because the wife says something about like we're bringing in like the best doctors from DC. Like, I'm assuming they have notes or something from the other doctor that like created this procedure.
I would love to see the doctor that they're like, hey, you're the best at what you do. We have something interesting we need you to do. Can you imagine him looking over notes being like, fuck.
I also love that John Travolta, right before he dies, is just like, well, get used to looking at, like, you know, my face, but then cuts exactly around his face that they were going to cut anyway.
That's like literally what I was just about to say. He was like, I'm gonna fuck your face up so when you get it back you'll remember me, and then he is just totally normal.
Yeah, he like cuts around his face like they do when they go to cut his face off when they do the Face Off. It's so stupid. Oh, this movie's perfect.
You know what line I loved though? It was at the beginning, is when they're like, they have their first like little standoff with each other, and Nicolas Cage, he's like, I think you better pull the trigger because I don't give a fuck.
Oh, when like
he just has crazy eyes.
And he's just like, he starts singing that fucking song or whatever.
Yes. He sings it at the end too, right?
Yeah, John
like
Travolta
as he's
sings
dying.
it.
Yeah, after he gets the harpoon in his chest.
Can we talk about Nic Cage's mustache at the very beginning of the movie?
Oh my god. Do you think that was a real mustache?
I do not, but I hope so. Well, I don't know. He's had mustaches in some movies that kind of looks like that, so it might have been.
My favorite too is that like he's getting ready to snipe this guy and he's just like sipping on a Coke.
I mean, same. I just looked up quotes and I don't know what I hate wearing worse, your face or your body. I mean, I enjoy boning your wife, but let's face it, we both like it better the other way.
He had some pretty good lines, I will say.
Okay, riddle me this though. I want to put this out there to see what you guys have to think about it. In the very beginning, when he shoots at John Travolta's character, what's his name? Archer.
Mm-hmm.
Does he look like he has remorse when he realizes, oh shit, I shot his son?
Yeah, I think.
Because I feel like he looks like he's like, oh shit, like what the fuck did I just do?
He even says it like towards the end or whatever, where he's just like, I wasn't trying to kill your kid, I was trying to kill you.
I sort of feel like maybe that's why he was protective of the daughter in that one scene.
Yeah, I kind of think so too.
Because then, does he ever actually figure out that Adam is his son? Because like she says that
he doesn't know. I don't think, right?
Yeah,
because
I don't think he ever knows.
Yeah, which I wonder how he would have reacted to that, if he would have just not given a fuck, or if it would have like changed him as a person.
Well, I thought for sure that Sean was gonna like use Adam against him, or like
that's
to bring
what I
him in
thought
or something.
Too, when
and
I
then
first
that just
watched it.
didn't pan out.
I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I feel like that's what other action movies would have done.
Yeah, it would have
Right.
felt kind of cheap, and I don't know. It's like to use his
the
kid
ending.
against him.
Yeah.
You know, it just.
The ending wasn't any better, though. Oh, do you want to take this kid? Sure.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I'll have to look it up. I was looking at quotes, and one of them is just, "I am Castor Troy." There was one of the IMDb trivia things talked about like an alternate ending. I gotta find out. So talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Were there any other quotes that stuck out to you?
Well, I was thinking we
what?
should create our own like parody of Face Off.
It would be so fucking bad.
I do like when John Travolta is just like lies, deceit, like whatever. I guess this is becoming a marriage.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
stupid.
One of my favorite ones is when they were in the beginning in that like pilot scene or whatever, and Nic Cage just like says to the guy, he's like, "Fly, bitch."
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
And he had that. My other favorite thing about his character was he had that box that was like, it had his like guns and blunts, and then just like chiclets in it. And I was like,
yeah.
what is happening with him?
Oh, apparently this movie was supposed to take place in the future. Which John Woo, again, was just like, no.
Okay, but I feel like if they would have done it in the future, it would have made a lot more sense.
I feel like it would have been a lot like fucking Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
That's what I was thinking too. I was also getting like Blade Runner vibes too from it. If they would have done it in the future,
Or like
which would
a
have been sick.
Minority Report.
Mm.
Where-
They should have done it in the future. I would have loved to fucking watch him fight like that.
I kind of feel like if they do, like, I could see them doing that for the remake, putting it like in like the not too distant future, but just not like giving a name, so it'll, or like, you know, like a time.
Well, if they're gonna do it in the future, then they still can technically use John Travolta and Nic Cage.
Oh god, I hope so. That'd be amazing.
They're like, oh, you know, it like flashes back to them somehow, both of them dying. They're like, we have their brain, we have their face, we can bring them back, and then they're robots.
They're robots.
Or like androids or something, and they have to fight each other. It'd be great.
You know that it made $245 million?
Oh yeah, this movie
Oh.
was huge.
Like, fuck, dude.
It also has like a pretty good rating. It's got like a 7 something,
Yeah, it's-
which is like higher than most of the stuff that we watch somehow.
Pretty good.
It is an amazing movie. I mean, this is like this is one of those action movies that's kind of almost universally like appreciated now.
I feel like it is. Yeah, I feel like it's getting a lot of recognition and love again. People are talking about it.
I hated this movie the first time I watched it, and then I watched it like 6 months ago for the first time since then, and I was like, this movie is fucking amazing. I became like obsessed with it. I was like, I could watch this movie every single day for the rest of my life. And then
Not
it hasn't
me.
happened because I need space, but still.
So on like the special edition DVD, one of the deleted scenes is like an alternate ending, in which Sean Archer looks into a mirror and Eve gasps as she and the audience see Castor Troy's face as in Archer's reflection, which makes no sense.
Yeah, that doesn't
But
make
it
any
was
sense.
it was like apparently the studio was just like, that's dumb, don't do that.
What if he was possessed by Castor Troy?
It's just like it just makes me think of like The Rage at the end of the fucking Rage.
Oh my god. I was re-listening to that today, and I was just like, oh my god, that's right, that movie fucking sucked.
It's just fucking like Nic Cage in the room all of a sudden just screams and goes to black. All right, anybody got any final thoughts on Face Off?
I will not watch it again.
I will probably watch it again as soon as we get done.
Yeah, I would say I'd probably end up watching it again.
I've been watching it, like trying to watch it for the last week because it's been a long time. So I barely finished it today. And so this whole entire week I've been trying to finish it like before I go to bed, and I always fell asleep like at the like face removal surgery. So today,
Like the very beginning?
yeah, I like just knocked out right away. So I finally finished it today, and I think I would watch it again. It's like entertaining enough, and there's enough action to where I would watch it again.
Kit,
And it's Nic Cage, dude. I can watch him all day long. That works.
I assume Kit would probably watch it again.
Yeah, but I'm watching Con Air first.
I
just made me
literally
wanna watch
was
Con
just
Air,
thinking
honestly.
I'm gonna probably watch Con Air when we get done instead.
I've never
never-
seen Con Air.
Oh,
I've never
so
watched
good.
it in its
Oh
entirety.
my god.
I'm telling you, I'm not a big Nic Cage fan. I'm just recently working my way up to his stuff.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Honestly, a movie that if it's still, I think I watched it on Prime, is actually, it's like a good kind of drama movie with Nic Cage, is Bring Out Your Dead. It's like a Martin
I've never even heard of
Scorsese
that.
movie where he plays like an ambulance driver that just kind of hates what he does, and it's just like a couple nights in the life of this ambulance driver as he's just kind of slowly going crazy from like sleep deprivation and shit. It's real good.
I think like I've only seen a handful of Nick Cage movies, but I do prefer the ones where he's kind of like where it's like a slice of life sort of, rather than him being like an action villain or something.
Yeah, I don't
Like that's believable to me.
I like his action movies because they're ridiculous, but I agree. I prefer him not as like an action star. Like I think the stuff he did in the 80s, like Peggy Sue Gets Married and
Vampire's Kiss.
yeah,
I was gonna
Vampire's
say
Kiss
Vampire's
rules.
Kiss is the best.
No, fuck, what's that movie? Valley Girl. Valley Girl's real good too.
Oh, I haven't seen Valley Girl in forever. I need to rewatch that. That's a good one.
Yeah, so watch Face Off because it's great. It is definitely long. I agree, it probably doesn't need to be almost 2.5 hours long, but
No.
it still rules. So after you listen to this episode, go find the Worst Horror Podcast because we're doing another Nic Cage movie on that. Mom and Dad, which I cannot wait to talk about.
Same here, even though I only took like 7 lines of notes, and there's so much that happens in that movie.
I have 2 lines of notes for Mom and Dad.
Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you guys at?
You can find us on Instagram at The Worst Horror Podcast, on Twitter at Worst Horror Pod. You can find Yasmin at That Horror Gal on Instagram, and you can find me at Kasey Goes to Hell on Instagram.
Yes, follow all those. Listen to their podcast. It's the best.
Thanks.
You can follow us on Twitter at I Hope You Suffer and Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Next week, so let's see, this will come out last week of October. So the week after this comes out, we are doing a first thing we're going to try and do periodically where we're going to have Katie watch a movie that it's kind of deemed like an essential, or like Kit and I deem essential, that she hasn't seen, and we're going to have her kind of lead the conversation about it.
It's Con Air.
Oh god, it should be. Kasey and Yaz, do not say anything. I don't want Katie to know. I want Katie to know as little as possible about this movie before she goes into it. We are doing Society.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So that'll be next week.
Oh, it's going to be difficult, but we will lock our trap.
I cannot keep my mouth shut. Oh my
okay.
god. That's one of my favorite movies.
It's
Oh, I'm so
gonna be
excited.
real good.
Oh my god.
So yeah, follow everybody. Go listen to Kit's other podcast, Riff Raff, on the Toilet of Hell site. Go follow Katie at Werewolf Face on Instagram. Go listen to my other podcast, Let Me Be Your Pot of Love. After this, switch over to our episode of the Worst Horror Podcast on another great Nic Cage movie, Mom and Dad. All right. Even though we're about to go talk some more, thanks for being on this, Kasey and Yaz.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
That was so much fun.
Yes. All right. I hope you suffer, but why?
Meat shake.
The worst.